pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda. Is there anything that you want to take off or change on the consent agenda, Steve?
No.
I have nothing either. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsfall. Yay. Mr. Wade.
Yay. Well, we had a special activity set up for this morning to swear in Dave Sperling as our renewing his commission as a member of our zoning commission, and unfortunately Saturday evening or Sunday morning early he passed away in his sleep. So very, very sad. Good friend of many of us, and certainly an outstanding zoning commission member. So I'd like to take a minute and do a moment of silence in memory of our friend David. We do have another, under special activities, we have a presentation by David McCandless, the district representative from the U.S. House of Representatives for Steve Chapman.
Not appear that Mr. Canlis is here today.
He hasn't made it, so we'll move on. Maybe he'll come in before the end of the meeting. It's not the, I guess, the greatest day to travel anyway. Fiscal officers report, Russell?
Mr. Wade, I have nothing to report today.
Okay. And anything under public comment? Gentlemen? This is the time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you would come up to the podium and then just, you have to state your name since we record this and your address, if you don't mind.
It's Ken McCone, 1308 Nutwood Drive, Centerville. My neighbor JR and I came down. We happened to see Saturday in the paper about the, talking about the new sewage study up over in Red Line.
Right.
And I guess we're just curious, how do you do that? Or I'm curious, I can't speak for him. What generates a study, because you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. Well.
And that's all, I was just curious how the process, I know we've talked to people and they say, oh, it's gonna cost 20 grand, you guys don't wanna pay it. Well, how do we know it's gonna cost 20 grand? I guess if we had numbers.
So maybe it spurs some interest.
Exactly, or no interest.
Right.
Well, that's kind of why we were here, since I seen they were doing a feasibility study today. I thought, well, maybe we can get us a feasibility study.
Well, I think it's
anyway,
that's something we could certainly look into, and of course that's gonna mess up there forever.
Ever.
We look
And the thing about it now, it's not like they gotta bring it from,
right.
it's there.
It's there. So sanitary.
It's there, it's right
there
behind us. So, anyway, that was our reason, mine for being here today.
I think we can look into that, and probably the first thing we need to look into, Matt, is to see if they'll let us hook on to that. If Montgomery County will let us hook on, because that goes. Montgomery County.
Montgomery or Green, I was told that by the county.
Yeah, but that's the first thing we can do, and then, we can look at, doing a study and see if there's feasibility study to see what it would take. I think there's no reason we can't do that, especially since sewer is as close as it is now.
Closer than it's ever been.
That's ever. And you know, the issue up there, of course, I know we've been through that a million times over the last years, but it's all about the fall up there, and they're still very flat, but now, those sewers have, I'm not a sewer.
No.
Seems like they're pretty deep up there.
Right, and, they built up behind us.
Yeah.
So now it's definitely not flowing west, and it won't flow east, so
Right.
that's where it's going, through my backyard.
Yeah.
JR's backyard.
Or just lane.
Or lane.
Or lane.
You know this empty lot up there. Nobody can even build.
Not even on the gutter of the street. Can't mow your ditches
Right.
and try.
But that was kind of our
Okay.
thinking in mind.
Well, we'll have Matt will take a look, find out about if we can get it done, and if it's feasible, can we connect, will they leave?
Right, and if, you know, all my neighbors say, you're crazy, we're not gonna pay it, so be it.
Well,
But without a number.
it may not be, maybe it's not as bad today as it used to be.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Sure, you're very welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for coming. Moving on to new business, would you like to, come on up? Mr. Young, come on up.
My name is James Young, 9763 Millwood Drive, Framingham, basically. My name, I even look at, I've talked to you before here a time or two. This has been looked into once before by, basically the builders, or one of the builders, that is moratorium on building. They were wanting to build, at that time, all they were looking into was, septic, because that's what got moratorium. Currently, there's some non-porous strata pretty close to the surface, which don't allow whatever to go away. Okay, that necessitates sewers too. But at the time, which was about 11 years ago, I believe I say here, they 2006, that one. So there is some information on this available.
You might want to share that with Matt before you go. And,
Yeah, I talked to you before.
Yes.
I
Any
didn't have it
information?
with me at the time.
Any information you can give to him would be helpful, I'm sure.
Okay, this is no doubt, especially with this West Nile virus or whatever it is and stuff, as swampy as it is there and the worse it's getting, health has its problems, no doubt in my mind. I'm seeing nothing else.
Right.
But I think there ought to be some federal grants maybe even available, some sort of assistance that could come in and help out. If people aren't willing to pay for it, which a lot probably aren't,
Might be some.
we're looking into.
Yep, and I'm sure that, once we get a little further into it, we can look for grants and things available now that didn't used to be, and then some things that used to be available that aren't anymore, so.
Looks like there are about 10 lots left to build on, so
Okay.
more constituents.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Y'all have a good day now.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate you coming in. Okay, moving on to new business, we have the Warren County Soccer Academy Agreement, a lease of the Hoffman Reserve Soccer Field, and, Matt, you want to tell us about that?
Sure. Warren County Soccer Academy representative, Mr. Buddy, who's here right now, as well as Josh Sperling, the executive director,
He is the president of the club.
president of the soccer club. We've been working together for the better part of a year now to study the use of the Hoffman Reserve Field, or in this particular case, the non-use of it, with regard to handshake arrangements that have been made in the past. And we came to the determination that it was significantly underutilized last year. And Mr. Gabbard was kind enough to bring a user to us and suggest that possibly the higher, better use for the field, which had always intended to be a soccer field, would be to invite another group to come in and utilize some of the field space that was sitting frankly vacant. So fast forward to this fall, we started working on the details of an agreement with the Warren County Soccer Academy, and we were able to negotiate and draft a fair and flexible agreement with them to utilize the field and bring it before you today as a finished product, a 4-year agreement with some opt-out clauses of about 4 months. And the Soccer Academy is going to pay us I don't want to say nominal, but we'll say a not significant rent, but also share some of the revenue from any tournament play that happens up there. So the rent and the revenue that they pay us should help offset some of the costs to maintain the field. So we feel it's an appropriate and quality use for that piece of land.
Okay. This is, I haven't had a chance, we haven't seen this agreement, but certainly we need to, if it wasn't getting used, and the agreement basically with the other organization was that they kind of were in charge of that, so to speak, and could use it at their will, but they didn't use it all that much.
Correct. It was my understanding that they held that field in reserve for if they got displaced from their regular field in the Spring Road Park system, so they effectively sat on it without it being used, were all the reports that I received.
Okay. Brian, have you been through this agreement?
I have, yeah, and this is one that Mr. Clark and I have been looking at for something over, like you said, close to a year. It's one of the agreements that we've used in other jurisdictions I represent, just kind of changing the terms where appropriate as the parties have requested, at least in this case.
Well, it seems to me that certainly, I'd like to read this whole thing. You guys opposed to us just putting this on hold until next meeting, so I can read this, and then if we have questions too, not that I'll have questions you guys haven't already thought of, but since we're gonna vote on it, we'll probably have to take time to read it, for sure.
Then replacement will be here too.
Yeah, Jason will be back, and I know he's been involved in some negotiations, so we'll get his perspective on this. I think it'd probably be a good idea to do that. With that, then let's just, we'll pass on any, unless, would you like to make any comments today?
Only if you have questions at this point, I can answer them, but I think probably after you review it, you'll have more applicable
That'd probably be
questions.
much better.
I'll be available for that as well.
Okay, all right, good. Well, then we'll move on to item 2 under administration, and that's resolution 5155, resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into a new master service agreement with the Genery, that's probably not how you say that. Dynergy Energy Services, and this is the second reading.
Yes.
So we won't vote on this until the next meeting, or do we do it now?
Do it now.
After 2?
Yeah, we had our first reading at the last meeting, and this is brought forward for final approval. Got the final pricing this morning, with an email from Mr. Surge from Dynegy, and he indicated that the price was 4.95 cents per kilowatt hour, which is somewhere between 8 and 10% lower than what our current fixed rate is. Frankly, it's a very, very good rate, particularly for a fixed contract, 3 years.
Good deal.
I think it's really, really good. I mean, what else in 3 years goes down? And this is a win for the township, absolutely.
You know, I've said several times, they saved me about $50 a month the last time, so I figure it's another few dollars I'll take.
Better than theirs.
Yeah, I'm happy to have it. Okay, is there any questions on resolution 5155? Any further comments? Is there a motion to approve 5155?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Musersbaugh? Yay. Mr. Wade?
Yay. And then we have, anything else under administration at this time? Okay, moving on to planning and zoning, we have resolution 5156, resolution to initiate exhibit 2019-1, an amendment that establishes definitions and refines the general provisions regulations of Clear Creek Township, Warren County, Ohio zoning code pertaining to portable storage containers, shipping containers, semi-trailers, boxcars, and residential zone, on residential zone land. Yes, sir.
What a mouthful, sir. Ultimately, this is the direction that we had from the last meeting, that you wanted to have things that truly met the expectation of a shipping container be prohibited for residential use. What we're going through the regulations, we wanted to make sure we also had the opportunity for the portable storage containers, which are the pods that are being delivered, that those had a place. And this regulation separates the two into different types, gives a timeline of 14 days for those pods to be out for people to move, so we still have that as an option, but all other of those entity type containers will be prohibited for future use. But this initiates, it'll go to regional planning, the zoning commission for a public hearing back before you, so, just to start the process.
Okay. Is there a motion to start this process and direct Mr. Palmer to move this to the planning commission?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Muersfall.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. And anything else from planning and zoning?
Well, if we could go ahead and do the qualifications for the engineering firm. 5157?
Yeah. We have resolution 5157, resolution to initiate a request for engineering qualifications for procurement of professional engineering services for the study and development of the general plan for and of centralized sanitary sewers to the unincorporated red line area of Quigley Township.
So this is the outgrowth of the Hunter Red Line Plan. Last year, went before the commissioners, and there needed to be additional study performed. At that point in time, they were not willing to fund that. They didn't have the manpower to kick it to the township. We put it into our budget, and here we are, requesting that study so that we can finalize and get the numbers truly what it would take to bring sanitary sewer development.
Long process.
That it is,
But
it is what it is.
Any questions about this? Is there a motion to approve 5157?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Muersfall.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on to the fire district, a request to purchase a Ferris 400 decimal.
Yeah, this is a 2019 budgeted item. It's the same mower we purchased last year for Station 21 on the recommendation of the road department. You guys were very pleased with that mower. It's working well for us, so now we're looking to get one for Station 23.
Okay. Any questions about this purchase? Is there a motion to approve the purchase of the Ferris mower?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Muersfall.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yeah. And we have the annual report.
Yes, see, we got some printed up this year. The point to get some of these printed was I'm going to go and meet with the civic organizations and just do kind of an update with the fire department where we are this year annually. And so if you know of any organizations looking for a speaker, somebody to come in or interested in the fire department, I'd be more than happy to set up something to meet with them. A couple highlights to point out is even though we've had a pretty aggressive community risk reduction program trying to decrease the usage of services, we still had an uptick from last year and run. Some of the things we've worked with is with the assisted living facilities, trying to get them to, utilize private ambulance services for less emergent things, and that's been going very well. And we work with Beacon Orthopedic to do a public-private partnership with the rodeo out there. We've seen our numbers decline significantly out there. We still go out there occasionally for the really bad, when the bulls step on their chests and things like that, but for the minor boo-boos that they used to call us for everything, they actually have a physical trainer on site that's working with them, so it's been a very good win-win for everybody. So we're trying to work our risk reduction as much as we can, but we're still, seeing an uptick in runs and simultaneous calls, so just busy with that. Yeah, so runs are up, and then we did have to dip into our reserve funds this year by a little over $300,000, so we did operate in a deficit again this year. I'll be more happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the chief? Okay, thank you very much. Nice report. Look forward to reading that. Oh, boy. Anything else, Steve? Road department, Scott, anything you want to add?
Just like to bring to your attention that we haven't got salt since January 18th was the last time I got a salt order. They finally called me Friday and said they're bringing 100 ton today. So, and that's not much. So just to kind of, you're going to see a lot of salt bills come through because we go in every winter with a full barn, and this year explains kind of, why we do that. I know there's probably been some questions on why we spend so much before the season comes, but we run into this every 5-8 years where we just can't flat out get salt, whether the mines collapse or whatever. But we've been waiting for 600 tons since January 18th. Luckily, we've been able to finagle enough to work it out. So you will be seeing some bills coming through to get that barn loaded before we hit next winter. So just in case you see the bills coming through, you'll know we're loading it so much, because there might be enough in there for one event if we had it, and that was it. So we barely got through it.
That's cutting it too close.
And, then the only other thing I would ask is if you guys still want to pursue the street sweeping. I talked to the county, they're not sure the reimbursement will be there. They say it's there, it's not there, it could be, not be at this point, they believe it will be. But I know last year I came to you about this time and you guys said go ahead and continue the street sweeping, you know, with or without the reimbursement from the county. And we did drop it from 4 to 3, so I just see if, you know, just putting that out there. I don't need to know anytime real soon, just, you know, if you guys wanna, you know, ponder that a
Recall
bit.
what we spent on that last year?
It's the same price as last year, I think it's like, $2,200 roughly, a sweeping, something like that.
For each event? How many
For,
times they do
for
it?
each event, 3 times a year. They do the spring after all the salt and debris and grits on the road, then they'll do one in the summer, then they get one after the fall leaves and everything have been in the way, so, the only price increase is for an emergency, if we were to call them for an emergency to come out, which we've never done. The price is the same for the standard sweeping, and that's all the curved areas in the township, so. Just if you guys wanna think about it and see if it's something you wanna continue to do. If the reimbursement's there, it's a great thing. If it's not, you know, then we'll be looking at it a little bit differently, so.
Okay, all right, we'll give that some thought. Very good. Anything else,
No,
Scott?
no, sir, that's all I have.
Okay, Wally, anything police department today?
No, sir, we have no business.
All quiet, okay. Good for you. Anything else under staff reports?
The committee that Mindy put together to evaluate our employee handbook has effectively completed their work and delivered a draft copy to me last week. I appreciate all their hard work in pulling that together. It was some seriously heavy lifting in light of the size of our current handbook, so reviewing the parameters of their draft copy right now, and I will certainly respond to the committee with those recommendations and hopefully be able to bring forward a finished product in the near future for the board's consideration.
Good. I'm sure that Brian's involved in that, and his staff. Excellent. Anything else? Staff reports, updates? Okay. Nothing further, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah.